In Lanterns Season 1, Episode 2, we learn some really interesting things, but the most important mystery that we're still dealing with before we go searching for the manhunters is actually how did Hal Jordan die and who killed him. In this video, we're going to go through everything that points to exactly who did this and how they have pulled the wool over your eyes by doing so. Because in Lanterns, they didn't just kill Hal Jordan, they showed you the body, they showed you the wound, they showed you the missing ring. This should be case closed, but it's not. Because when it comes to magic, there are 3 stages to every trick. First is the pledge, where you're shown something very ordinary. Then we have the turn, when that something ordinary does something it should. And then finally, the prestige, where it comes back, but when it comes back changed. And I'm going to use this method to prove to you exactly what happened to Hal Jordan. First, the pledge. This is when they show you something ordinary. And the ordinary thing they shown us was Hal dead inside of the same spot where we seen him seated before. Very ordinary. We seen him seated there before. So it looks like this could have happened. In episode 2, we see Hal try to make his way onto the ranch. And while he is on this ranch, he is shot and then taken to the hospital. Why did they do this? They want you to see that Hal has been shot before. So seeing him dead with a gunshot wound to the head would not be something that isn't ordinary. We've seen that he's provoked people and in turn been shot for that provocation. So therefore, this could happen again to him, and that is why it is believable that he is sitting here at this particular time, shot dead with one wound to the head. The clothes match, the body matches. We have seen him get shot before, so this is nothing new. This seems like it is Hal Jordan, shot dead, sitting here in these bleachers. We have seen him go into bar rooms and get into fights and get beat up and allow himself to do so for his own purpose. So when we see him sitting here in this state, it's not unbelievable. This is something ordinary. We've already seen how this man rolls, so the pledge is set. Next is the turn, and this is where that ordinary thing does something that it shouldn't. Now, we see something ordinary in this episode. We see Hal trying to teach John how to fly. Very ordinary. Hal learned how to fly, but he said because he was a pilot, it came natural to him. And when he takes off, you can see he does so as if he was a plane. But this isn't as natural to John. He's never flown. He's never been in a situation like that. But when he tries to fly, he creates a bird. Now, this bird that he creates, he's able to control this bird when he doesn't have the ring on whatsoever. And Hal says that in all the years that he has been doing this Green Lantern gig, he has never been able to do that. This is such a high level construct that even though he does not have the ring on, and John goes all the way back and he flies all the way back to get the lantern itself, the bird is still there. And this is done through his force of will. Hal has had so many years of training, but still never had that level of force of will to do that. Now, it's not a coincidence that when we deal with magicians, we always see them use what? They use birds. Make birds disappear, then reappear out of thin air, right? And usually it's something else going on there than that actual same bird reappearing. And that's what's going on here. We also then see Hal in this episode get a little bit feisty. He figures something out. He takes a body of an alien, a naked body of an alien, and of course the body is going to be naked. It's coming out of the morgue, and the show has already established that there are alien species, 12 of them, that can pass biologically as any human and blend right in with the humans. So Hal grabs this body, he brings it through the metal detector, and figures out that this isn't just a metal detector, it's an actual alien detector. And the sheriff had already known this to be true. So the people of this town are already aware that aliens are lurking amongst them. And when Hal does go to the hospital, he does realize in this hospital that all the equipment that is there is brand new, still in plastic, never used, and it's all chalked up to it's a small town. We don't get the same type of volume a big city would get. I live in a small town outside of Saratoga, New York, and let me tell you about the hospital there. That hospital is always packed, even in a small town. So that doesn't fly. It doesn't pass the sniff test for me. You would have to Febreze it a little bit more in order for me to buy that situation. We also get talk about the manhunters. And then John is given the Holocaust pill, basically, in his brain. Not a physical pill, but something in his brain so that he can see exactly how deadly and what it feels like when the manhunters wipe out a whole civilization. That he has to live with that. And also given a time limit, 48 hours, to find the manhunter, unless they will all go there and blow themselves up and destroy the whole town. Now, this is trying to put a lot of credence on his time that we must get to the bottom of this. We must find this manhunter. But it really does is show you 100% that there are people in this universe that are wearing bodies that are not their own. That there are people disguised as other people walking amongst all of these people. That is what they're really trying to establish in this show. So always keep that in your head while we continue this video. Some in the business might try to call that a redirect. And we get a redirect when Hal goes and visits Sinestro. Because when he goes to ask Sinestro about the manhunters, all Sinestro wants to tell him is that they are only the second biggest threat to him. The first is John Stewart. A redirect not done to unfocus Hal and not keep his head in the game. That's what he's trying to pull. Now, whether he has something to do with this manhunter, we'll talk about that in a later video. As I said, I will tell you exactly who the manhunter is in a later video. I'm just going to conclude this video of exactly what happened to Hal. So that's the redirect that they tried to do. An old magician's trick, a sleight of hand. And speaking of hands, we have to go back to the ring. Hal is found there without his ring on his finger. This is something that happens when Green Lanterns die. The ring goes away and it finds the next owner. But from what we see with John, who should be the next owner, we don't see the ring on his finger. So what's going on? That brings us to the last part of this trick, the prestige. And during the final act of the trick, the prestige, it is where it comes back, but it also comes back changed. So let's break down everything I have just said and put it all together. Hal is shot in the head. But when we look at the wound that was on that alien, it's in the exact same spot that Hal got shot in the head. This show has already put it in there with the manhunters and the 12 other beings, that we are going to see people in human form that aren't humans, that aren't the people that they claim to be. That is what they have established in this show. We also see that person that was the alien, butt naked, and they give you a little full frontal to try to distract you from everything. That's the swerve. Now, there are certain questions that nobody has asked when looking at Hal's body in this situation. And the number one question you should be asking is that this takes place 10 years later. But Hal is in the same clothes that he was wearing 10 years before. Now, if you've seen me in an outfit that I wore 10 years before, and you see me in that same outfit 10 years after this fact, I would hope you would think that I probably fell off, because that's what I would think about you. Hal Jordan must have fell off. But why would they put him in these exact same clothes? Well, it makes it believable, because people have already seen him in this outfit. So when you see the body sitting there in this outfit, in the exact same spot that he was seen sitting in before, it makes the audience believe that this is Hal Jordan and that this is believable. But in the end, it's not. It's most likely the dead body that we have already seen, naked, but this time fully clothed, and Hal's clothes from that time period, then sat in that spot. Now, you may say, how does this person at this time resemble Hal so much? We have seen John Stewart be able to construct a bird and control that bird. And it's everything about that bird, all the way without the ring, from long distance. A power that they said Hal was never able to master himself. Green Lanterns are the master of disguise. Their power rings can bend the light and make everybody think not only that they're invisible, but also it could change their physical features. It can change the hair and their texture. It can put a glamour over somebody and make them look any way that they want. We have seen this with many Green Lanterns before, and it's also been done with John. And they are also the good ones who can concentrate the hardest, can make it so that the green light is not there at all or not visible to the human eye. And this is what's going on with Hal. So when we look at why the ring isn't on his finger and it hasn't found a new lantern, it's because it really is on his finger. And this person sitting there in the bleachers dead is not Hal, but an alien, and used by John Stewart's glamoring technique of the ring, which has been established that he does not have to be there to hold that construct and keep it going, is what's in this spot. And for some reason, they needed to fake Hal's death. And that will be shown, I'm sure, in a later episode. And I can't exactly tell you exactly why that's going on, because I have not seen any of these episodes whatsoever. So that is who's sitting there. Hal is not dead. But I did say that when they come back, and Hal will come back, they come back changed. Now let me explain to you what this change is going to be. And this is how I believe that this show is going to end. They show us Hal's house. This house was gifted to him because he was one of the greatest superheroes of all time. But this house is just that, a house. We see pictures on the floor. In fact, he has a pet in there, but this pet is just of a plant. And he actually named this plant. Why? Because this is the only thing in that house that he has to live with. We have also seen a different house, the rancher's house, when Hal went to visit them, and they were barbecuing. There was family around. They were cooking. There were pictures on the wall because that house was a home. And a home is something you have when you have somebody you're willing to come home to and have a home with. And we seen from the beginning that Hal has been flirting with this sheriff, and that sheriff is what's going to make Hal's house a home. And that is what's going to give him the strength and the ability to hang it up. And the reason to hang it up and be willing to pass John the ring, because he now has something outside of being a superhero that he cares about. And he now has a home with this woman. And that's how Hal comes back changed. And that is the final prestige. But you tell me in the comment section what you think. Do you like this theory? Do you have your own theory? I want to hear from you. And make sure you thumbs up this video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.